When I visited my friend's apartment last week, I was shocked by how dirty it was. From the moment I stepped inside, I could see clothes and shoes scattered across the floor in every room. The kitchen was in chaos. Dirty dishes piled high in the sink, leftover food on the counter, and a strange smell that made me cringe. As I moved into the living room, the mess continued. Trash was everywhere. Empty snack bags, crumpled papers, and even old newspapers were strewn across the floor and furniture. The final straw was a bathroom, which clearly hadn't been cleaned in a while. The sink was grimy, the mirror was fogged with dirt, and the toilet looked like it had seen better days. I couldn't help but ask my friend why his apartment was in such a state. He seemed embarrassed and told me that he's been incredibly busy with work and other commitments, leaving him with no time or energy to clean. He admitted that the mess had gotten out of control but didn't know where to start. I told him that living in such a cluttered and dirty environment could negatively affect his health and mood. A clean home not only helps prevent illness but also creates a more positive and calming atmosphere. Seeing how overwhelmed he was, I offered to help him clean up. We decided to tackle the mess together, starting with the clothes. We picked up all the scattered garments and sorted them into piles for laundry. With the floors cleaned, we moved on to the kitchen, where we rolled up our sleeves and washed every dirty dish in the sink. As the counters and sink began to clean, it felt like we were making real progress. Next, we tackled the living room, picking up all the trash and vacuuming the floors. With the clutter gone, the room felt more spacious and inviting. Finally, we turned our attention to the bathroom. We scrubbed the sink, cleaned the mirror until it shone, and thoroughly cleaned the toilet and floor. After hours of hard work, the apartment looked completely different, clean, organized, and much more comfortable. My friend was visibly relieved and happy with the transformation. He thanked me for helping and promised that he would make an effort to keep the place clean from now on. I was glad to see the difference we made together. A clean apartment not only looks better but also feels better to live in. It was a satisfying reminder of how small efforts can lead to big improvements in our daily lives. A trip to the gas station. Hi, I'm Pera. Today I'm going to tell you about my recent visit to a gas station. It was a typical afternoon, and I noticed that my car's fuel gauge was showing empty. So I decided it was time to fill up my tank. When I arrived at the gas station, I pulled up to the pump and turned off the engine. I then got out of the car and walked to the pump. I had to choose between regular, mid-grade, and premium gasoline. I decided to go with regular because it's what my car usually takes. Before starting, I made sure to select the correct fuel type by pressing the button on the pump. Then I lifted the nozzle, inserted it into the fuel tank, and squeezed the handle to start the flow of gasoline. While the tank was filling up, I looked at the digital screen to see how many gallons were going in and the total cost. It took a few minutes, and when it was done, the pump automatically stopped. Afterward, I replaced the nozzle and went inside the station to pay. The cashier asked, "Which pump?" I replied, "Pump number 3," and paid with my credit card. Before leaving, I also grabbed a bottle of water and some snacks for the road. Hello, I'm Sarah, and today is a significant day for me. I woke up early this morning, feeling both thrilled and a bit anxious. Why, you might wonder? Well, I have a job interview scheduled for today. I quickly jumped out of bed and began getting ready. The first things I did was take a refreshing shower to wake myself up. Then I selected my finest outfit, a crisp white blouse paired with navy blue trousers. After getting dressed, I headed to the kitchen to prepare a nourishing breakfast. I knew I needed all the energy I could muster for the day ahead. I made avocado toast and scrambled eggs, accompanied by a cup of herbal tea. As I ate, I rehearsed possible interview questions in my mind, doing my best to prepare. Once breakfast was over, I double-checked my bag to ensure I had everything necessary. My CV? Check. Letters of recommendation? Check. A pen and notepad? Check. I made sure everything was in order before leaving my home. As I walked to the train station, I felt a flutter of nervousness, but I took a deep breath and reassured myself that I was capable of this. The train arrived and I boarded, finding a seat by the window. I watched the bustling city pass by, trying to steady my nerves. Finally, I reached the office building where the interview was to take place. I took one last deep breath before stepping inside. The receptionist greeted me warmly, and I introduced myself, mentioning that I was there for an interview. She directed me to the waiting area, where I sat, anticipation building, until it was my turn. When my name was called, I walked into the interview room with determination. The interviewer posed several questions, and I responded thoughtfully, drawing on my past experiences and the skills I had acquired. After what seemed like ages, the interview concluded. I expressed my gratitude to the interviewer for their time and exited the building, feeling a mix of relief and satisfaction, regardless of the outcome. I was proud of myself for taking this important step forward in my career. Birthday celebration preparation. Hello, I'm Sophia. I have a beautiful daughter named Zara, and today is her 7th birthday. To make the day extra special, I've decided to bake her favorite cake and make a delicious homemade pizza. Zara loves anything with cheese, so I'm making a cheesy margherita pizza, and for dessert, a chocolate cake with her favorite toppings. I start by making the pizza dough. I mixed flour, yeast, salt, and a little olive oil with warm water, kneading it until it's smooth and elastic. After letting the dough rise for an hour, I roll it out into a round shape. I then spread a generous amount of tomato sauce on top, followed by layers of mozzarella cheese and fresh basil. Into the oven it goes. baking until the crust is golden and the cheese is bubbling. While the pizza is baking, I begin working on Zara's birthday cake. I mix together flour, cocoa powder, sugar, eggs, and butter, stirring until the batter is smooth. I pour the batter into the cake pan and bake it until a toothpick comes out clean. Once the cake has cooled, I frost it with rich chocolate icing and decorate it with colorful sprinkles and Zara's favorite candies. When everything is ready, Zara and I set the table together. She is so excited to eat the pizza, and her eyes light up when she sees the cake. We sit down to enjoy the meal, and the joy on Zara's face makes all the effort worthwhile. We sing happy birthday before she blows out the candles, and I feel so happy seeing her enjoy her special day. Relaxing beach day. Today has been a wonderful day. I feel both happy and relaxed, which is a perfect way to start the weekend. Knowing that I don't have to worry about school or work tomorrow makes me even more excited. Tomorrow, I've made some fun plans, and I can't wait. My friend and I have decided to take a trip to the sea. We're going to start early in the morning, driving down to the coast, and I'm really looking forward to it. Once we get there, I imagine the beach will be full of life, with the sound of waves crashing on the shore and the fresh, salty breeze in the air. My friend and I plan to swim in the cool water and soak up the sun while lying on the warm sand. It will be so nice to just relax and let the rhythm of the ocean take away any worries. We are also planning to play around on the beach, maybe building sandcastles like we used to when we were younger. At some point, we'll probably get hungry, so we've decided to pack a picnic lunch. It'll be simple but perfect for a day like this. Some sandwiches, fruit, and maybe a few snacks. Eating by the sea while feeling the gentle wind and listening to the waves will make everything taste even better. I love spending time with my friend, and being in nature together will make it even more special. There's something magical about the sea that makes you forget about everything else. The calmness of the water and the beauty of the beach always fill me with peace. I'm really looking forward to tomorrow and know it's going to be a fantastic day at sea.
You're welcome. I'm glad we could share our travel experiences. It's always nice to hear how travel can enrich our lives. It really is. Speaking of enriching experiences, have you ever considered traveling solo? Yes, I have. In fact, my trip to Nepal was actually a solo journey. At first, I was a little nervous about being on my own, but it ended up being one of the most empowering things I've ever done. That's incredible! I've always wondered what it's like to travel solo. Did you ever feel lonely? Not really. There's something about traveling alone that forces you to be more present. You notice more around you, and you're more open to meeting new people. I met so many amazing fellow travelers along the way, and we shared stories, meals, and even parts of the trek. I never truly felt alone. Plus, it gave me time to reflect on my own thoughts. I can imagine how that would be. It must have been such a contrast from everyday life. Definitely. In daily life, we're often caught up in routines and responsibilities. But when you're out in nature, especially in a place as majestic as the Himalayas, it's hard not to reflect on your priorities. I came back feeling like a different person. It's amazing how a change of scenery can shift your perspective. That's so true. I think it's one of the reasons why I love traveling. It pulls you out of your comfort zone and forces you to see the world differently. Exactly. Speaking of comfort zones, do you think you'd ever try a solo trip? I've been thinking about it more and more lately. There's something about the idea of relying entirely on yourself, without anyone else around, that feels both intimidating and freeing. You should absolutely go for it. Solo travel teaches you so much about yourself. You learn to trust your instincts, make decisions on the fly, and embrace the unknown. It can be scary at times, but it's so rewarding. Plus, there's always the excitement of not knowing what you'll discover. You're really convincing me. I think I just need to find the right destination for my first solo trip. Do you have any recommendations? For a first solo trip, I'd suggest somewhere that feels safe but still offers plenty of adventure. Maybe a place like New Zealand. It's beautiful and the locals are incredibly friendly. Plus, there's so much to do outdoors, from hiking to kayaking. It's perfect if you love nature but want to feel secure traveling alone. New Zealand sounds amazing. I've heard the landscapes are breathtaking, almost like something out of a movie. They are. The mountains, the beaches, the forests, it's all so pristine. And if you're a fan of outdoor activities, you'll never run out of things to do. There's also a really strong community of travelers there, so you can meet people easily. That sounds perfect. I've always wanted to explore more of the natural world. There's something so calming about being surrounded by nature, away from the noise of the city. Absolutely. Nature has a way of grounding us. That's part of the reason I took up meditation after my trip to Nepal. It helps me reconnect with that sense of peace, even when I'm not traveling. That's interesting. I've always wanted to try meditation, but I've never quite gotten the hang of it. It's definitely a practice that takes time to master, but once you get into the rhythm, it becomes a really powerful tool. Even just a few minutes a day can make a big difference. It's like giving your mind a break, a moment to just be still. I think I need that in my life. Maybe I'll start meditating before I take my first solo trip. It could help me stay centered during the experience. That's a great idea. It'll help you stay calm and open to whatever comes your way. And who knows, maybe the solo trip will lead to even more positive changes in your life, just like it did for me. I hope so. I'm getting excited just thinking about it. I'll definitely start planning soon. Do it. And if you ever need advice or tips, feel free to ask. I'd love to help out. Thank you. I really appreciate that. I'll take you up on that offer. Anytime. Traveling is such a gift, and it's even better when we can share it with others, whether in person or through stories. I couldn't agree more. It's conversations like these that remind me why I love to travel. There's always something to learn, something to experience, and someone to meet. Exactly. And every trip has the potential to change us in ways we can't always predict. I'm sure your next journey, solo or not, will be just as impactful as the ones we've already had. I have no doubt about that. Thank you again for sharing your stories. They've truly inspired me. You're very welcome. I'm glad we could talk about it. I can't wait to hear about your future adventures.
Thanks for joining us today. We hope you enjoyed the conversation and learned some useful phrases to express both the positive and negative aspects of planning a trip. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to our channel, and leave a comment below sharing your thoughts or your own travel experiences. We'd love to hear from you. See you in the next video.